I also got an offer from JP Morgan. I also got an offer from Goldman. So Goldman had 3 rounds, and one of them at the last was like 3 hour long, whereas JP Morgan had 7 rounds, even for internship. I started applying to 10 companies every day roughly. And that being said, I was like around like 150 companies I applied, and more than like 500 roles, because every company will have 3 to 4 roles each. So you will have I applied daily, I would say. And then I started getting interview calls starting September. I got calls from like 20 companies, I would say, roughly. And the like I gave pre-screen rounds for like 17 to 18 out of those, and then got like normal interviews where I could do coding session for 10 of those.
So at the time of applying, how many lead code or code chef problems had you solved?
Couldn't throw a number of problems I solved, but it was less than 200 for me. But still, I got interviews and I was able to crack them. The recruiter reached out to me saying that it looks like you are like better suited in ML space. So we will go through the process of software engineering the way it is, but then have an extra round for machine learning concepts.
Okay, guys, so today we have with us Devshri Patel, and she did her undergraduate from Ahmedabad University, and then she went for master's in Arizona State University in computer science branch, and she did 2 internships there at Mathwork and Intuit, and she got also got converted as full time in Intuit. So we'll get to know about the interview rounds and how did she get into ASU. So yeah, we'll maybe probably know some tips and tricks to get full time there. So yeah, Devshri, you can introduce yourself for our viewers to know you better, and then we can proceed further.
Okay, thanks, Kanak. So I am Devshri, and I finished my Information Communication Technology BTech from Ahmedabad University, and that was back in 2021. And once I finished that, I was applying to universities everywhere because I was interested in pursuing masters in computer science. So I applied to like around 6 7 universities at that time, and it was COVID time. So I just wanted to be at some university which was economically feasible and also a safe place to live and gives much more opportunities in terms of software engineering and machine learning. So I applied after like around my sixth semester after giving GRE and IELTS. So my CGPA was around like 3.52 after the end of sixth semester, and then my IELTS was 8, and my GRE was 315 in first attempt, and then I gave a second attempt, but then that reduced my score, so I just went away with 315. So and I didn't give TOEFL, so I just went with my IELTS score. And at the time of applying, I also had like 2 research papers and 1 concept paper. So by concept paper, I mean just a submission in the archive. So this was just my profile when I applied. And other than that, I had like done a couple of internships, and that was in just local like startup. One was in Geekybee, which is based in like Pune, and I was just doing it remotely. Then another one was Softwan, and this was the time when there is vacation after like third year. So I did both the internships like parallelly because I was just free at that time and could work full time. And then after my third year finished, and then like in fourth year you have to take the BTP. So during BTP I worked at Uncanny Visions, and over there I was working on a
What is BTP?
BTech project. So
Okay,
BTech
okay,
technical project, which is
okay.
which is there in Ahmedabad University, where you have to like work for a company on a particular project, like on a specific project which is related to your field, and it should be like around 3 to 4 months, and it last for the whole semester, and then you have to write up like a document on it, which will cover all the details of your internship work. So that I did at Uncanny Visions, and the project was on computer vision. So mainly my profile just lied in machine learning and in natural language processing, to be very specific. So I was like keen to pursue masters in MS in computer science, but with a specialization in ML.
Great. So it sounds a very great profile. So no wonder you got into ASU. But just to give a context, how many universities did you apply to? Because the application process itself is very expensive, like $85 or $100 per university. So how many colleges did you apply for, and like from how many of them did you get admits or rejects?
Okay, so I applied for like around 6 to 7 universities. So one of them was ASU, another one was UT Dallas, then third one was Indiana University Bloomington, and fourth one was Purdue, fifth Georgia Tech, and then so I got admits from four. So UTD, ASU, IUB, and there was one more. But yeah, ASU was the best one from it. So I wanted to just like be at a place which is not that expensive because I was going to take a loan. But yeah, there are like I think scholarships which are also available in other universities in case when you apply, do check out that. And there are consultancies which do have like partnership with few universities, so they will waive the application fee, and that thing happened to me for ASU. So um so basically I just had to pay like around 150 to $200, considering all the universities which I applied for, because at that time the fees were reduced because of COVID.
Okay, okay. And for accept, like when you got the acceptance from ASU, did they provide any scholarship, or the tuition fees itself is very low, so that you decided to go to ASU?
So they do provide scholarship, but I did not get one because to get a scholarship, your GPA should be like around 9.2 to 9.5 on a scale of 10, and my was 3.52. So unfortunately, I didn't get one. But even after that, you have opportunities to get scholarship. That is once when you perform very good at like academics after you enter ASU or any other universities. They do a semester by semester scholarship program as well, where you have to apply, and then the GPA gets into consideration, and then the projects which you have been working on. So there is opportunity. But yeah, if your GPA is like around 9.5, then you have a heavy chance of getting a scholarship.
And this CGPA that you had is out of 4, right?
Yes.
So you'd have to convert it into 10 by some official method, or that out of 4 CGPA was considered in the application.
So we are just supposed to we they will give us an they will just give us a scale, like option of scale, is it a 4 or a 10. So I just chose 4 because Ahmedabad University has a 4 scale. So you need not convert it. Only for few universities you have to apply for a VES evaluation, and that is for San Jose State University and others, but not for ASU.
Okay, great. So now considering you have gotten acceptance into ASU MSCS program, when you landed there, so what was the curriculum like, and like when you studied, so compare it with the Indian curriculum, how stressful was it in assignments and exam perspective?
Yeah, based on curriculum, I would say there are just three courses which you have to finish in a semester. So that's like 3 credits each. So 9 credits you will be studying at a time in a semester. But that being said, there is like a lot of extra things going on in your life at that time, because you will be settling in a completely new place and in a completely new country. So you have a lot to learn. And other than that, when you if you are going into a fall semester, so that is the time when you have to also apply for internships in summer, because summer will be just there in like 8 months, and if you are not prepared and if you have not practiced much, then when you will start getting interviews, at that time you will fall behind. So when I just reached there around like in July end, after like few 15-20 days, I was just in the race of getting an internship by applying as much as I can, and then interviews get started in September. So along with academics, you have to also see if you can get any on campus job. So I was also working as a research assistant with one of the professor, and as a research assistant, so that is like 20 hours per week. So you have to also dedicate some of your time with that job, so that you can just help yourself with the expenses related to the campus, like the living expense and all.
Okay, okay. So I have a lot of questions on this. So first of all, when you got into ASU, can you discuss the tuition and living expenses there?
Yeah, so the tuition will be around like 50K dollars for 2 years, 4 semesters. And in ASU it was like it does not it is not applicable based on the semester, it's based on the credit. So eventually you have to finish all the credits. So even if you finish your masters in 1.5 year, you will end up paying 50K. So that's the same thing. So I would say don't rush into finishing it in like 1.5 year. If you have like opportunity to do one more internship, and if you have opportunity to search your jobs even more, you will have one more semester, so you can finish it and the gross will be 50K. And that being said, for living, for me it was like rent was around like 350 to $450 per month, and then along with that the groceries and the electricity and utilities will sum up to around $150. So you, and now the because of the inflation the rates of rent have increased, so you can just take that 500 can now be somewhere between 700 to $800. But if you are doing an on-campus job which gives you around like 12 to $15 per hour, then you should be good for that value.
Okay, and discussing about on-campus opportunities, so there is a TA position, RA position, and there would be around different on-campus jobs as well. So can you discuss about should one go for those jobs in which you don't get any technical, learnings, you just, work in cafe and all. So should one work there just because of money or not?
So there are two opportunities. One is the teaching assistant. In that you just have to, it just acts like a grader, and in that case you have to also like sometimes help professor in building the assignments and projects. So basically evaluating all those things, and that is similar to what we have in India as well in many universities. But there is another position which is research assistant or a graduate research assistant. In that case you have to work under a professor on a specific project, and that might be an ongoing PhD project of some other student, and then you are just helping them with some of the data analysis stuff or just doing some research proofreading. So it depends. So in graduate teaching assistant and graduate research assistant you will get I think full tuition fee waiver. So if you are like me who was just more keen on saving as much as you want, just because if you have a loan, then those two options are really great. And also it is great to be put on a resume, because from a large pool you are selected in a you are selected and then you are awarded that tuition fee waiver. But even that being said, if you are not able to aim for that, and if you are somehow not able to get that, then there are some other opportunities. So in ASU there were opportunities like a software engineer in a particular organization. So there is a small organization, they are working on some projects, and then you can be a software engineer intern, or maybe if you have like good experience in India or wherever you have worked before, then you can just be a software engineer and they'll pay like 20 to $25 per hour. So over there also you will learn a lot about the tech stack which is going on over there. So there are several opportunities. And if you are in case not interested in technical and you want to like work more on your non-technical skills like leadership or let's say your communication skills, then in that case they have also front desk jobs. They have also jobs in like technician. I think we had something called as support technician. So if there are some issues with the ASU compute clusters, then they will just ask you to help the students. So in that case you just know how to communicate better. So it really depends on what you are looking for. But then I wouldn't say that you just shortlist that you want to just do this much, apply for everything and then see where you want to land up.
Great, great. So just because you get a full tuition fee waiver for that RA or TA positions, how competitive is it is to apply, and how do you apply? Like you just go to a professor, you tell them and they take you, or like are there any openings on some portal or something? How quickly does it fill and what's the competition look like there?
Yeah, so there are two options. One is that if you have taken the course of that particular professor and you have worked under a project which of that course which professor took before, then in that case, and if you did really well, like you scored an A plus or an A, then you can just approach the professor and then let them know that you are interested to join the research group. They might not give you the full tuition fee waiver at the first like at the first and they will just ask you that okay, you can start volunteering. So in volunteering you just join a research group and you just work on some small tasks. Then based on your progress after like couple of months, he will notice that okay, you are working hard, and then he might give you that opportunity. That was something which I have seen in like my tenure in ESU. And another thing is that they will have open positions which they will list on job portal. So over there you can apply, and that won't be specific to your course which you took. It can be anything, but then they are looking for some specific skills. Like let's say they will say that they want Python or SQL or R because it's related to data analytics or data science. And if you are good at it, and if you can apply, and if you have a good experience, then you will get interviewed for it. And then based on the interview they will select. But yes, it is competitive because hundreds of students will apply for it, and they will just end up taking couple of them because it's like full tuition fee waiver and they cannot give it out to everyone.
Yeah, so what's the ratio? Like if 100 people apply any number, that only these many will be selected.
So what I have seen from my experience is that like if hundreds of students are applying and they might have like around 2 to 3 positions, so it is that selective. But
Okay.
given that not everyone has a good profile, so if you have a good profile, and you should just focus on the qualifications they are asking for. And also just don't look at the basic qualifications, always take a look at too good to have thing. So they will have good to have section as well apart from prerequisites. So if you meet prerequisites and too good to have section, then it's like you have a very high chance of getting it.
And I assume these RA and TA positions are only available after 1 or 2 semesters, or like students get it in the first semester itself.
I have seen only rare situations where people have gotten into like first semester, because in first semester you don't know people much. But that being said, there was one of my colleague who who I think worked in Hitachi for like 4 years as a research engineer in India. And he, when he got admit in ESU, he reached out to professors, rolling out his resume, and he also told them that he is very much interested in doing research from the start, and he did get into that. So when he landed in US, at that moment he started just working with him. So then there are rare situations, but then in that case it is like you have a very good experience in research, like 3 to 4 years.
Okay, great. Now coming to the main part, the internship. So from when did you start applying for internships, and around how many places did you apply to get that one or two interview calls?
Yeah, so I started my internship applications as I mentioned in August. So I started applying to 10 companies every day roughly. And that being said, I was like around like 150 companies I applied, and more than like 500 roles, because every company will have 3 to 4 roles each. So you will have to apply for them. And I would say as much as you apply, you will have more chance for your resume to be viewed, right? So I applied daily, I would say. And then I started getting interview calls starting September. I got calls from like 20 companies, I would say, roughly. And the like I gave pre-screen rounds for like 17 to 18 out of those, and then got like normal interviews where I could do coding session for 10 of those. So you will have to be really patient when you are applying, but you will get it. But it's just that they will start reviewing on a rolling basis. So I started getting interviews in like September, and then every company will have its own schedule of finishing the hiring. So you will have to move fast, and in that case, you'll have to also prepare. So I would say, if you have not started coding yet, you should start if you are planning to be in the US, because every other company, if you are like even in software engineering or machine learning, it will be like you have to give a coding round. So for coding round, I would recommend doing lead code or code chef, whichever you are comfortable with. But in US, it's like it's more on data structures and algorithms, and not on like competitive coding. So focus more on lead code.
So at the time of applying, how many lead code or code chef problems had you solved? Just a rough figure.
I wouldn't say that I did much of it. The reason behind that is I was not much keen into doing competitive programming or data structures and everything because I was into ML space. So when I got to know that this is a thing, I started with the 75 list of lead code, which is the frequently asked one, and I wouldn't throw a number of problems I solved, but it was less than 200 for me. But still, I got interviews and I was able to crack them. The reason behind that is it's not about the numbers you should focus on, it's about the concepts and the theory which lies behind that. So even if you solve one problem, but that problem has like four concepts involved in it, then other 5 to 7 questions which are on the similar line of concepts you should be able to solve. So you should focus on how well you focus on solving the problem rather than just like finishing it off and just ticking it off.
Great. Okay. So talking about the first internship offer that you had of Intuit, can you describe of how the interview rounds look like and how did you get into Intuit?
Yeah, so I had like couple of offers. So to shortlist them, I just considered that how they well evaluated me. So for me, Intuit had like 4 rounds, and it was a software engineering position which I applied to. But then when I gave my first round, which is like an online assessment, and based on those results, the recruiter reached out to me saying that it looks like you are like better suited in ML space, so we will go through the process of software engineering the way it is, but then have an extra round for machine learning concepts. So those were like 4 rounds, one two of them being coding, one of them being technical, just knowing your skill set, your projects and everything, and then last one was behavioral. But it really depends on the type of company you are interviewing for. I also got an offer from JP Morgan. I also got an offer from Goldman. So it really depends on what kind of role they are looking for. So Goldman had 3 rounds, and one of them at the last was like 3 hour long, whereas JP Morgan had 7 rounds. Even for internship they had 7 rounds, because they were looking for an intern in a research group which was just newly established. So in that pool there were like 450 students who started on the first round, and then they ended up just taking 2 people, and out of those 2 people I was the one, and I went till the last, and the sixth interview was like of around like 4 hours. So it's like they will decide on how they want to grill that person based on the opportunity they are offering. So it really depends, and it's not like a set schedule that every company will just take 4 interviews, and it really differs.
So just curious, what do they ask in just 2, 3 hours long interview? Like, is it all data structure algorithm or what does it look like?
So in Intuit, it was like two coding rounds were fully focused on DSA, and the one round was technical, that will have the ML concepts and the projects you have worked on. But in JP Morgan, it was like the first 2 rounds were DSA. The third round was on my publication. So basically, I had a call with a VP, and they will ask you like, what research did you do? What efforts did you put into? And why did you solve this problem? What was there a really a need of solving this problem or not? Then based on that there will be a super round. So in super round it will be like 3 hours. So first round all three different people, so it will be a panel of interviewers. So first person will be asking you questions about mathematical problem solving, so puzzles. It's not related to like pure competitive coding, I would say. It will be like solving puzzles. They will like to evaluate on like how you solve a problem, how effectively you solve a problem. Then the second one was just about brainstorming on a particular problem. So they will give you a problem, and then you have to brainstorm on the type of solution which you are thinking about, and then you have to also, basically you brainstormed a solution, but then how to implement it. So they will ask you on the implementation ideas. And the third round would be a coding one, but that would mainly focus on critical skills like problem solving. Again, it's not like data structures, because data structures they already evaluated in first 2 rounds. So in that they will just focus on what concepts you will apply in which scenario.
Okay,
So
great.
that is how they'll lay it down.
Just one question. Why did you choose Intuit? as compared to JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs?
So Goldman was offering like a summer analyst role, and I didn't think that that is more aligned towards the interest I had, and that was more into like data analyst space, and that was the one which I didn't feel like I want to pursue. And then JP Morgan, they were giving a position in NLP research group, and I was the one. So there were just two people apart from me, so I felt like the scope of learning might be minimized. And another thing is that do check out whenever you apply for an internship and whenever you get an offer, do check out that they do provide sponsorship. By sponsorship I mean that after you graduate and after you like start working full time, you will require H1B sponsorship if you are in the US. And if that company does not provide one, then you will be in a fix, because after your OPT extension of 3 years after your masters expire, then you need a sponsorship to be in the US and to work. So JP Morgan was one of the employers that do provide like a very good pay, but they don't provide compensation, they don't provide like sponsorship. So in that case, if you are like a green card citizen, and if you don't need a sponsorship, then you can go ahead with it. But for my case, I needed a sponsorship, and Intuit was giving one, so I went ahead with them.
Okay, great. And now coming to the MathWorks thing, so you like after completing Intuit internship, you directly got an internship into MathWork, or how did that MathWork thing happen?
Yeah, so basically, there are like cohorts. So Intuit was in summer cohort. So that is the summertime. So summertime internships start usually in August. So the applications will start around that time. And once the summer cohort applications are done around like March, they will release the cohort for fall. So that is once August ends, or maybe once August starts, depends on what company wants to. So I looked through the internships, but at that time the situation was not that good. The companies had started doing layoffs at that time, so I didn't apply to many internships at that time because there were only couple of them. So I applied to five companies, and at that time I got into Mathworks, and I was interviewing during the summer internship I was doing. So I would say if you are like keen on working for more companies and like trying to like just open out your options, then I would say just keep a close eye on when the new roles are opening and which cohort they are offering. But that being said, you should also try to see if your university allows that, and what terms do they allow. For example, ASU doesn't allow us to go in person and work because our studies are still going on. So they will allow you to work if the employer is asking you to do it remotely, then they are fine. But if they are calling you in person, then they won't allow. So I also had opportunity from Snowflake. So I finished the interviews for Snowflake as well, and did and was going to get an offer, but then they informed that they just want a person who can be there in person at their office, and then ASU did not allow that. So just try to figure out that what your university wants and what the employer is offering, and based on that try to narrow down your options.
Great, great. And now coming to full time, so the full time conversion was based on performance, or they already told that you will be given internship and full time together?
No, it's completely based on performance. So I was, I think, about to end my internship in August midweek, and then they have a check-in call. So during my check-in call, my manager told me that you will be getting a full-time offer here, and but I didn't get the offer letter at that time. I got the offer letter after 20 days.
Okay. Great. So now coming to the thing that I read many blogs and I saw many videos about the mass layoffs and all. So current situation of tech industry is very bad in US. That is what I heard. So do you suggest coming to study in US doing MS, because the cost of living, the cost of studying is very high, and if you don't get a job there, it becomes a really bad situation. You financially become very vulnerable. So what is the current situation that you know there? and should one come to US for masters in 2024?
Yeah, so I have been asked that question many times, and when I was searching a full-time job, because even though I had an offer from Intuit and Mathworks both, I wanted to search for more offers as well. But at that time, the like it's just that the mass layoffs had started and the companies were not rolling out new roles. So that was the time everyone was panicking, and there are many colleagues of mine who are not able to get a job and who are still in the search of job. So it's been like 10 months or so, but they are still in search of job. So it's like I wouldn't say that this is the best time to find opportunity in the US, but yes, for studies it is still a good place, and I would say there are many universities which do have like good programs, and they are also like trying to get in new concepts, like let's say the transformer models and the LLM, so they are trying to incorporate those in their curriculum. So in aspects of study, I wouldn't say that you should stop yourself from coming here, but that being said, if here you are trying to just take a job after masters, then that is difficult right now at the moment, and the economy in US is still trying to bounce back. But just keep that in your mind that there is a possibility that you might not get the opportunity which you are looking for, but that does not that should not stop you from coming here. So that is what I want to say. And another thing is that uh, what I have seen from my experience is that even if you like keep on applying like around like 300 roles or 350 roles, it's actually not on you that your profile is not good, or you have not studied well, or you have not done well. It's just that sometimes the situation is such that they are not considering people because they don't want to give a sponsorship. So in that case, they will only take people who have green card or who belong here. So that's the thing they don't want to spend on us, because giving a sponsorship to us also cost like around 10,000 to $20,000. So that is the way they are like cost cutting. So I would say uh, don't try to rush on making a decision. I would say just try to evaluate like how the situation is improving. You might want to take some experience before you come, and that's what I did not do, but I would recommend having that, so that when you are here you get eligibility to apply for senior roles. So if you have worked in India for like 1.5 or 2 years in software space or any space you like to be, then over here you can be considered for like data analyst to position, software engineer to position. So basically not a junior but an associate level of role. So that would give you an edge when you are applying, because not everyone has that. So uh, when I came here I did not consider that particular criteria, because I just wanted to come here and start immediately without taking a work experience. But given the situation right now and you want to enhance your profile more, then getting a work experience will also help.
Okay. And you told about that your one of your friend is still there in 10 months, that he has not gotten his job or something. How long can a person live without a job there, and how is he living 10 months without job?
So it really depends on like what kind of like field you are in, because if you are in STEM, then I think you have some extension. So I don't know about the number of days, but it's like 60 to 90 days period of time when you can live after your employment authorization document, like based on that date. But what people do here is that they do get in touch with the consultancies. So those consultancies will consider you as their employee, and they will try to help you get interviews. But it's still difficult to get interviews even being in touch with them, but that is the way you can just be considered as you are an employee. And another option is that you can take up a volunteering job or some other job in the university itself, because university will also have positions for software developers and for support, like customer support type and support technician, computer support. So they will also give you money, and like they will just give you a good pay, not that level of pay, but decent pay where you can just stay and to be considered as an employee, so that you are not like just told that you have to leave US.
Great. And does location matter if someone goes and studies in California side? Do they have more opportunities as compared to someone living in like UMBC or Baltimore side?
I wouldn't say that it really depends on location because now the companies are like giving relocation as well. But during this time, yes, it would depend on that because they don't want to roll out the relocation. It's like they will prefer to go into campus for, like, let's say San Jose State University, which is near to Silicon Valley. So they would like to hire more people from there so that they don't want to give relocation and they can save their money over there. But if you are getting a good program, then you should not compromise and you should just say that you are willing to relocate, and that's it. So even though Arizona, like, I had like opportunity to get into SJSU, I did not go there just because ASU was better in terms of program in which I wanted to go. So just don't do any compromise in studies because ultimately you are going to give like 50k or 60k just for studies. So don't compromise on that.
Great. And now coming to the final question, any uh, final advice that you would like to give to someone who's coming for masters in US and get full-time and internship opportunities?
Yeah, so three things I would like to say. One is that keep your resume ready whenever you come here because you won't have much time to do resume grooming. So if you have your seniors in touch in India or in US, you should just start doing resume review with them. Just try to finalize upon like 1 to 2 templates of resume which you would like to use for applying. Let's say you are interested in software engineering and machine learning both, then you can just try to keep two versions of your resume, one being very solid in ML and one being in software space. So I would say be ready with the resume. Then second thing is that stop just saying that you want to do only competitive programming and not focus on the conceptual things, because here you will also get asked on OOP concepts, or let's say ML concepts if you are going to uh, go in the different rounds after DSA. So I have seen that people are just getting focused on lead code and competitive programming, and then they miss out on OOP concepts or networking concepts or any concepts which will come after like third or fourth round. So you should also start reading books or maybe any material which you would like to refer, and you have a good time before you come here. So that is the second thing. And the third thing is that get a list of both universities you would like to apply for, and another is the companies which you are targeting for, or maybe research groups. So if you are more interested in doing research, then you should find out that which research labs can give you opportunity for internships or for like part time, anything like that. And then for those who are just like me who want to just do job after getting graduated, then you should have a list of companies. So when the application would start, you can just go and then apply. So then you don't have to hunt for the companies you are going to apply for. 20 to 25 companies you would know based on the level they are in the tech industry, but then there are other good companies as well which are mid-size and they do provide good compensation. So you might want to get that list from your seniors who might have applied to those roles before, and then start getting referrals for those. Just try to build connections because connections will help you get referrals. So I would say start doing networking over LinkedIn, reach out to people, be in their network, follow them, and then reach out to them that you are interested, and you might reach out to them for the referral.
Okay. Thank you, Devshri, for taking time out and doing this podcast. I hope it will help many juniors who are coming for masters in US. So yeah, thank you, Devshri.
Thanks, Kanak.